Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snetterton for the sixth round of the 2023 EERC British Touring Car Championship. My name is Edward Hunter, instead of Joshua Birch, of course. Joshua's having issues in the background, so I think it's just going to be me and our broadcast director, Pascal Eggett, who I believe is in the commentary box. I think you should be able to hear him alongside me. He'll be able to give in a bit of insight here and there. As you see 24 drivers negotiate 3 races here at this excellent track at Snetterton. Really high speed. I believe it's the 300 layout. So that's the one with the Montreal hairpin near the beginning, isn't it, Pascal?
I actually haven't driven Snetterton before, so I couldn't tell you, but I think it's the 300 layout, yes.
Yeah, there we go. We see Lou Hartley going through Montreal hairpin now. Nobody told me what layout was either. The drivers were asking. I was like, well, I don't know, because it's not on the web. It's not on the Discord server. The info is not readily available. It's just people show up and drive whatever's there. But anyway, we're in the middle of qualifying at the moment, and it's an interesting situation in the drivers and teams championship with, I think, Mike Bell leading Jeffrey Ellis by 4 points in the drivers. And then in the teams, it's Rookie Monsters leading Hunter Birch Simulation by 2 points. It's very, very close indeed. So yeah, Mike Bell will be taking the full 75 kilograms of ballast through qualifying and the first race, with Jeffrey Ellis 66 kilograms, Arda Erchan on 57 kilograms, but I don't think Arda Erchan is here today, so that won't be a problem. Scott Sovic has got 48 kilograms to lug around. Bradley Sellers has got 39. Louis Hartley's got 33 in 6th. Then we've got Tibor Kiss, who's got to lug around 27 kilograms. Peter Schumann, 21 kilograms. Luca Gray, 15 kilograms. And of course, our very own Nick Homewood has got 9 kilograms. He's 10th in the championship on 62 points. So he's about 58 then behind Mike Bell in the lead on 140 points. So still pretty close there. And then your team's championship, it's Rookie Monsters by BRS Designs, 239 points. Hunter Birch Simulation, 237. And in third, you got Frina von der Green on 184. And Kistva Racing Team, which I believe is are they the Hungarian squad in the Infinities? Yes. They're on 173. Of course, they won the first race last time out at Sachsenring. So it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that form, as unfortunately live races has just crashed on me, so completely lost the live timing there. So I'll just have to rely on what's on screen at the moment as we look at Luke Mitchell, who's on board the Hunter Birch car, just coming to a stop, as he's just set a lap good enough for provisional pole, 4 tenths ahead of Vajic. Of course, was on pole and won last time out, I believe, Brandon Vajic.
Yep, he won the first race.
Yeah. Problem is that I'm trying to remember everyone's first names, and it's a bit of a nightmare because I've not been commentating any of the season because it's clashed with GPV. So it's a bit of an awkward one. With the only reason I was able to do this because of the rescheduling. This was rescheduled to be a week earlier, I think, than it was originally supposed to. If you look at Jeffrey Ellis, is shedding the middle sector. I think he's just coming through. That looks like we get the track Hamilton and into Oggies, sort of right hand. So he's sort of the other side of the Montreal hairpin now. And great, I guess. It's a bit hard for me to tell because I keep having to go towards the track map and I come back towards the footage and then it's just completely dead. So I can't see anything, but he's definitely going down the long back straight now. So yeah, I may as well just get a separate tab up just instantly that's got the track map, because obviously I haven't seen too many races at Snetterton, so I'm trying to remember it. The back end chicane, that's Brundle and Nelson, of course, and now into Bombhole. Jeffrey Ellis goes a little bit too wide, and that's compromised the lap. And that's the thing about Bombhole, it's such a long, constant radius right-hander that tends to you tend to understeer out if you haven't got the entry correct. That's what Jeffrey Ellis demonstrated. So he's down in 5th at the moment with 6 minutes left to go. Mike Bell gets himself only up to 7th, of course, with that 75 kilograms. but he is sort of literally doing this with one hand tied behind his back, essentially, with all that ballast. Luke Mitchell, though, has also got a similar amount of ballast, and he's currently about half a second ahead. Which really shows that some drivers really hooking up well, and others really struggling, given what the deficiencies that they're having to deal with in terms of weight penalties, and also some people haven't done as much practice as others here as well. You do get the sense. Here's Scott Sovic for Bowlers Esports, fourth at the moment. Of course, he is leading the Independence Championship, and he's fourth in the overall points. He's got 48 kilograms he's lugging around here as he goes towards bomb hole. This time, a little bit of a slide in mid-entry there. In fact, this isn't the bomb hole, is it? This is the final corner, isn't it, that he's just going through now? So that's Murray. That was Coram and Murray's, of course. The line he goes, 152.4, purple middle sector, but not good enough for the third on the grid ahead of Louis Hartley. So Sovic will have to give it another go. He's got 5 more minutes to set a pole lap here.
Not as close as last race. In the top 10.
I was going to say, last season, Louis Hartley kind of won it fairly comfortably.
No, I mean, the time differences. Last race, we had like 5 or 6 people within 2/10. Not as close.
Yeah, I think it's Luke Mitchell that's ruined that, isn't it, Pascal?
Yep,
because
definitely.
Me hiring him, he's clearly he's very good. Yep. He's leading the Formula Sprint 2 Championship and very competitive in other series as well. Certainly seems to get the grips with this touring car pretty well, and we saw that in Alton Park at the end of last season as Louis Hartley drifts it as he goes onto the back straight. That's through Williams, of course, onto the Bentley straight.
Was it first sector? Meanwhile, Vajic also with first and second sector.
Yeah, so Gabor Vajic really pushing at the moment as Tibor Kiss gets his car up to 5th position. I'm afraid the live races is completely down for me, so I'm going to be... and race for you as well. So I'm going to be completely doing this blind, it would seem. Relying on what's on screen as Gabor Vajic crosses the line. It's purple in the middle sector, but not quicker in the final sector. So it was the first sector as well that really cost him there. He was a couple of attempts down.
Might be caught by Louis Hartley now.
What can Louis Hartley do?
Completely messed up the last sector.
No, it's not quite good enough in the final sector. As we cut to Bradley Sellers then for Rookie Monsters. Through Nelson and Brundle and into the bomb hole. You can see the lots of flowers or little poles on the grass in the middle of the it's almost like an old airfield here at Snetterton essentially, but quite had the same history as Silverstone, but it is a pretty high speed track, especially back end. The final 2 sectors are very, very high speed, but the first sector is probably where technical stuff is. Bradley still has powers towards the line. It's faster in the first sector. It's good enough for 3rd to displace Louis Hartley by a 10th then. So 3 minutes left to go. See if there are any more improvements here. Josh Hughes gets his XRL 17th. Is anyone else improving? Mike Bell has gone faster in the first sector, but he's gone back to the pits then, so he's going to have to come out for a final run. Peter Schuderman goes 13th fastest then.
Mainly on outlaw, it looks like.
Yeah, and this is Kiss on an outlap, so down in 6th position for the Kiss racing team. Kiss and Vajic qualified currently 2nd and 6th, which is a very, very competitive showing for them. It is Luke Mitchell with 2 minutes to go that holds fastest time. Holds it comfortably too.
He thinks he has it in the bag already, sitting in the pit lane for quite a while.
Yeah, we got Vajic out. He's set a lap a 10th of a second slower than his best. Set a personal best first sector though. Anybody else
Also
out
back
there
in the pits.
improving? Not at the moment. We are seeing Gavavagic return to the pits with 1 minute 40 to go. The lap round here is 1 minute 51. A lot of these people in the pits, it's over for them. Much all of them. So we're going to focus on Hartley, Sovic, Kiss, Ellis, Bell potentially, and Hargitay as well. Edges of the top 10. All 300-vert simulations having 75 kilograms of ballast for this first race, of course. Two of them are drivers that didn't compete last time. One of them is leading the championship. But here comes Scott Sovic then. So final lap for the Bullers Esport driver. The 163 with a minute to go then. Down the center straight we go into Riches, and the rear hang out completely, just about hangs on onto the exit of the corner then. Montreal awaits him. Into the hairpin he goes. Needs to make sure it's to the apex, which he does beautifully. Very, very V kind of corner there, where very constant radius got his turning down at the apex and was able to drift the car out. Hit through Oggies he now goes. And next corner is, of course, Agostini, after the legendary motorcycle legend Giacomo Agostini. In the rear, sliding out as we go to Oliver Hargitay, who's set a purple first sector and a personal best in the middle. Through Nelson and Brundle he goes into the bomb hole. There's that little bit of banking that sort of sucks you in slightly. Out into Coram. Long right-hander that seems to go on forever. And he just needs to set himself up well for Murray's the final corner. Oswald's line. Now, what is this going to be for Oliver Hargitay? Is he going to be able to out-qualify Mike Bell? Checkered flag is out then. Towards the line he comes. Hargitay goes onto the front row with Luke Mitchell. That's a very, very impressive lap time by the 175. And Oliver Hargitay was complaining beforehand of setup issues. It seems that he's got it to work for him now. There is Sovic then on his final attempt. It was a little bit slower, fractionally slower in the middle sector then. Nick Homewood improves to 11th as well. Maxime Bulio to 16th for Optimal Esports. And here is Sovic then towards the line. Is this going to be better than 6th on the grid for our leader in the independents? Oh, it's going to be 3rd, just behind the Hunter Birch simulation entries. So good effort there from Sovic there. The final sector really saved that lap. Tibble Kiss. Oh, difficult first 2 sectors there. I don't see the Kistfer Racing team getting itself out of 7th, and indeed he doesn't. Mike Bell going a little bit quicker in the middle sector as Howard now takes 17th position. Mike Bell is just not look comfortable with that 25 kilograms relative to his teammates in qualifying. But can he get himself potentially into 8th or 7th? First line he goes. Remains 10th then. So Bell improved on time, but not positions. And is qualifying improvements, but it is Hunter Birch simulation front row up front, Pascal.
Yeah, strong laps there.
So now qualifying has finished. We can take you through the grid order. Of course, Luke Mitchell on pole position by nearly 3/10 from Oliver Hargitay. 75 kilograms of ballast as well. Scott Sovic was able to get himself up to 3rd on the grid, ahead of Gabor Vacic, winner from race 1 last time out. Hartley himself up to 5th of Bradley Sellers. Then it's Tibor Kiss and 2nd in the points. Gray for Scuderia Moreira, and our championship leader rounding out the top 10 on the grid then. Nick Homewood is going to line up 11th ahead of Justin Royan for Optimal Esports. Peter Schoenemann will line up 13th ahead of Thomas Savigny. Chris Hood will be 15th ahead of Maxime Bulio. Howard in the XRL. Davide Zanini for Optimal Esports. Josh Hughes in another XRL, which looks very, very tiny compared to all the cars around it. Then it's William Novak rounding out the top 20. Francisco Perez will line up 21st ahead of Andy Horton and Louis Hesketh, with Stefan Nilsson for Lastant Racing not setting a lap. So Nilsson will surely either start from the back of the grid or the pit lane. So unusually then, Pascal, our front row both got 75 kilograms of ballast. And in terms of tire choices, we got Hartley, Sellers, Howard, Perez, Schooneman, Ellis, Tiborkis, Hughes, Pedro Cruelas Gomez is not here. All of those are using the option tire in race 1, whereas everyone else is using them in 2 or 3. So both the 100% simulations on the front row are going to be without option tires, whereas Hartley and Sellers and maybe even Schooneman and Ellis especially are going to be big threats behind them.
Definitely going to be an interesting setup for this race.
Yeah, let's hope Lagtai and Luke Mitchell communicate well. As the lights coming on then, and they're about to go out now. And the race will be underway. Race 1 of EERC British Touring Cars at Snetterton, and Luke Mitchell makes a good start. Sovic following in his wake, and Hargitay now tucking in behind. So 100% simulation maintain the front row lockout that they had from qualifying. Sovic, they would hold off Abelvagic as they go into Montreal hairpin, and this is where it's all going to bunch up and everyone needs to be very, very careful. There's Vagic trying to go up the inside of Sovic, pushing Sovic a little bit onto the grass there, and Sovic has to slot him behind and now finds a under threat from Bradley Sellers with Louis Hartley not far behind as well. So Hartley and the 2 rookie monsters behind and ahead have both got the soft tyres at their disposal here, so Sovic could be under threat then. Here comes Bradley Sellers with the big Yorkshire flag. The Yorkshire right rose, of course, on top of the rookie monsters. He clatters over the bollard. Mike Bell is in the middle of a fight with Luca Gray and Nick Homewood either side of him. And there's Mike Bell trying to go around the outside of Luca Gray through Hamilton and Oggies now. Oh, and a big contact with Luca Gray there. Gray is forced onto the gravel. That was very, very forceful there. And Gray has a little bit of a dangerous rejoin there with Chris Hood. There we go, Nick Homewood pushing the boundaries of the circuit limits to keep his teammate Peter Schooneman at bay then, but Mike Bell has got through into 9th as a result of that. And now here is Sovic trying to put pressure on Vagic. Vagic, who makes a mistake then at Brundle, and Nelson goes all the way off track into the grass. So Vagic made a big, big error there, Pascal. Just got offline and has come to a complete stop on the exit.
Just recovering.
Yeah, Nielsen gets by. Vagic gets going, I believe, second last with only William Novak behind him. So it's been a good start, though, for rookie monsters. Able to Sellers and Ellis both ahead of Louis Hartley. Now their next target will be Sovic. That Luke Mitchell is just trying to escape up front. 1.92 seconds the gap now to Oliver Hargitay. So this is looking very, very good indeed at the moment for Luke Mitchell with his teammate and Scott Sovic defending. Oh, as Brady says, hits the back of Scott Sovic, and now it's Jeffrey Ellis's turn to swap positions as a result of that. That was very late on the. I think Scott Sovic caught Bradley Sellers out there by braking as early as he did, because Sellers did not see that one coming. Mike Bell is starting to catch Tibor Kiss for 7th. So dramatic first lap then, and now Ellis is starting to make contact with the rear of Sovic. Scott Sovic in the Ford Focus now finds the Vauxhall, both Vauxhalls of the rookie monster drivers just completely harassing him in this second lap then. Just less than 14 minutes to go race, and Jeffrey Ellis really trying to pick his moment here, where Scott Sovic is weak and where he can get through. Sovic, though, is also getting a little bit of a tow, a big tow actually, from the back of Oliver Hargitay, and that is protecting him. And a little move there into Brundle, but Oliver Hargitay, lifts a wheel, and that is exactly what we saw happen to poor Vagic earlier, and Hargitay drops down to 9th position behind Mike Bell, up to 6th, of course. Monsters free to chase Scott Sovic unimpeded. A big error there for poor Oliver Hargitay, who gets going again. Down in 11th, though, as you see the rookie monsters now trying to gang up Scott Sovic for what is now 2nd position. Jeff Ellis trying to go around the outside down the center straight. Riches, but he's going to be a bit offline here. Sovic is going to defend the inside, goes a little bit deep. allow Ellis a run into Montreal, and Sovic defends the inside, moves back to the racing line. Ellis breaks late, and it's Jeffrey Ellis going to get through here. Yes, he is. And Scott Sovic's going to be stranded around the outside unless he can somehow hold on into Oggies. Here they go. And, Sovic just bangs doors with the rookie monsters there and pushes Jeffrey Ellis onto the grass a little bit. So Bradley Sellers is going to be allowed back through now. And the two rookie monsters clearly feel very, very annoyed here with Scott Sovic.
I was about to comment on the nice clean racing between the two of them until Scott pushed Ellis off the track there. I don't think that's what we want to see here.
All right, it was very, very robust there, and I think good on Sovic for keeping his foot in on the inside, but you say wish contact could have been avoided. I think that there just wasn't quite enough space given there to Ellis. So Sellers now back into third, as he was not too long ago. Homewood, meanwhile, has to catch up to Louis Hartley and is towing Peter Schumann along as Bradley Sellers has got the inside line down the Bentley straight. How late's he going to break here? This isn't really a 2-into-1 corner. Oh, and again contact made as Bradley Sellers is pushed off track and Jeffrey Ellis is let back through. Scott Sovic does not want to lose that second position whatsoever, and all of this is allowing Kiss and Bell to close on the pair of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Hartley struggling so much compared to the two rookie monster cars.
Yeah, he's got the soft tyres as well for race one, doesn't he? So this is not good. Not Louis at all. He's not had the best luck in the last couple of races, has he? Everyone, of course. We got the likes of Mike Bell and Kiss are trying to set themselves up well for race two when they will get to use the soft tyres. But Rookie Monster's looking to maximise here. Luke Mitchell's got a 5-second lead though on Sovic at the moment as we cut back to Nilsson in a fight with Francisco Perez in the Finovon. A little bit of dust from Zanini, Savigny and Bulio up ahead of them, all in a duel of their own. But up front is still the Rookie Monsters trying as hard as they might to get past Sovic, but the more they get held up by Sovic, the more Luke Mitchell starts to run away with this race up front because of course the Rookie Monsters have got a fair bit less ballast than Luke Mitchell, but of course Sovic is less, being fourth in the points, has got a sort of medium amount of ballast, and that is what's allowing him to sort of stay in this fight. I'm trying to remember where Sovic is going to use his. He's going to use the options in race 3, I believe, along with quite a few others as well. So race 2 is going to be the minority soft tyres. We go into 10 minutes remaining then. Order up front: Mitchell, Sovic, Ellis, Sellers, Kiss, Bell, Hartley, Homewood, Schuneman, and Hargitay, who's got back. Luca Gray, although only temporarily. Luca Gray way back through then, so Oliver Hargitay completely out of Williams, outfoxed there as Luca Gray gets back through, and we see a move behind almost happening between Howard and Royan. Justin Royan having to let Howard hold on to that one for now. Doing a good job to hold off the optimal entry. Up for the exit down the main straight. There's somebody on the grass. It's one of the Finovons. Is it Homewood? It is Nick Homewood. He's messed up the final corner and lost 4 positions as a result then. But here comes Justin Roy, and then he's going to try and set himself up. And can it be the riches of 11th place for him? No, just has to wait his turn then, as the optimal entry does have the words "set up please" on the top of the windscreen. He's got Nick Homewood for companies. We see a move just behind between, is that Zanini and Savigny. Chris Hood, of course, in the Scuderia Marrera. But Chris Hood will be a little bit annoyed at that. But now look at the two Rookie Monsters congregating at the back of Scott Sovic. And Jeffrey Ellis has a little look up the inside, pushes Scott Sovic off track. Scott Sovic going that a little bit too wide, trying to carry too much speed. Hamilton, and now into Oggies. The two Rookie Monsters trying to set Scott Sovic up, the Boulders Esport driver. Hang about in his wing mirrors then, because these two Rookie Monsters could attack, and they may yet drag Tibor Kiss and Mike Bell with them as well. minutes to go. Then the lead 7 seconds for Luke Mitchell, who is checked out at the moment on maximum ballast as Jeffrey Ellis tries once more into Nelson and Brundle to try make a move. And again, Scott Sovic is robust, holds the middle of the road, does not give an opportunity to the rookie monster cars. Jeffrey Ellis trying to force the issue there as they go through Coram and into Murray's. And Sovic, a little bit wide. That's going to compromise his exit here. Jeffrey Ellis is going to have, the outside there as contact is made between the pair. And the two infinities of a Kiss and Bell trying to get involved in this as well. Bradley Sellers is a grandstand view. These two squabbling away into Riches to turn one, and Sovic holds the inside. Sellers is able to slot himself up the inside of Jeffrey Ellis then, and he's going to try around the outside into Montreal hairpin. No way through there. That could potentially allow Bradley Sellers to make another move, but Sellers gets out of the throttle sensibly. And this is really not ideal for rookie monsters because they're just being backed in to their immediate competitors behind them. Comes then Bradley Sellers for another attempt, and this time he's got the inside then into Agostini, and that's a wonderful move there as again Sovic getting very defensive now against Jeffrey Ellis as he has been the entire race. Ellis goes side contact and they both go off. And they nearly collect. And they hit Mike Bell as well. That's an absolute disaster for Mike Bell, who arrives sideways into Oggies there. With Kiss just avoiding, but Mike Bell arriving at the worst possible moment. He drops down at 2/7 then, but does get going again. And I think Mike Bell is going to have some words there after that one. But,
yes, moment.
Sovic and Ellis coming together and losing third place to Tibor Kiss as a result there. Tibor Kiss, that's a huge advantage for him then, being able to avoid the chaos there. This also means that Bradley Sellers has checked out another 2 seconds ahead as here's Oliver Hargitay battling with Peter Schumann. It's Luca Gray, I think, arriving sideways there at the exit of Bentley Straight. He clearly didn't get the turn into Brundle the way he would have wanted it there. And we're going to see a replay of some of the chaos that just happened. Luca Gray just, the back end just snapped around on him very, very early there. So something very grievously wrong, I would suggest, with that BMW. He rejoins the circuit down now in 16th position. Go back to live footage then. This is Hargitay trying to get past Peter Schumann for 8th place. Having started on the front row, made that mistake into Brundle. 5 minutes to go, looking to get back into the top 8. So Hargitay, still with those 75 kilograms of ballast, it's going to be difficult to pass Peter Schumann, who I believe doesn't have any ballast at all, if I remember correctly. And indeed, Schumann has 21 kilograms, so it's not quite as stark a contrast as I thought it was. But here comes Nick Homewood then, up the inside of that must be Zanini in the Optimal. He's fighting with both sides through Oggies they go. And it is going to be Zanini that gets the run out on the outside and is able to slot back into the inside as they go through Agostini. So Nick Homewood sensibly deciding not to force the issue too much there. But certainly Nick Homewood is going to really have to fight if he wants to finish in the top 10 here, which is surely got to be his aim now. Hargitay continues to pressurize Peter Schumann and Schumann. Both of them actually going onto the grass. They're trying to go as wide as they can onto the Bentley Straight then. Hargitay got 4 minutes, so a couple of laps left to try and make this move. But Peter Schumann soaking up the pressure beautifully. We saw this. He won in the first season of EERC British Touring Cars at Imola, where he was defending the lead from much faster drivers. And Schumann is slowly catching up to the back of Mike Bell as well after Bell's involvement in the collision early on, which is surely going to cost him a little bit in the championship. With both Ellis and Sellers ahead of him, at least limit the damage somewhat. It is a couple of seconds to be ahead of him, but here comes Oliver Hargitay now. He's got a good run to the center straight. Schumann already tucking to the inside for turn 1 though, so Hargitay is going to have to set himself up for Montreal. They've always hitting the back bumper of the Finnebon BMW. Into Montreal they go, but Ty looks a little bit too far back as Hughes is in trouble. Peter Schumann locks up. Does to run out of the hairpin then. So Oliver Hargitay perhaps is just backing off for the time being. 2.5 minutes roughly left to go. Bradley Sellers has not made any inroads on Luke Mitchell as we see side by side the battle for 18th. Oh, as Vajic is early off struggling to pass Bulio there. Did get alongside as now we see Chris Hood coming off track as well, and that's going to allow Nielsen to break away. Josh Hughes is going to close in the XRL just behind. Lovely livery on the XRL, by the way. Vajic, this race is not turning out quite how previous week did at Sachsenring. That really shows the contrast week to week. You can win one week and then have a horrible race the next. Conversely, you can be nowhere one week and then find a track that really suits you following on, or you can come out of presumably nowhere like Luke Mitchell has done. Just put in a brilliant performance. So still 8.7 seconds, so the last lap around 153.2. So Sellers was 0.2 faster the previous lap, but he is running out of time here. Luke Mitchell only has to lap consistently here to hold on, as we see Louis Hartley now trying to go around the outside of Jeffrey Ellis, and indeed he has done so. So Jeffrey Ellis, of course, is fighting with Mike Bell in the championship. Now is only going to finish one place ahead of him, so I wonder if Ellis is suffering damage from the incident with Sovic.
I would maybe even suggest a different tire wear. That Hartley took it
could
easy
be the
on
soft
the
going
tires
off.
and comes now back after the Rookie Monster cards, of course. Used the tires up more in the fight with Sovic.
It's a very, very good point, Pascal. So Louis Hartley, our reigning champion, using his head. Oh, and now we see Hargitay continuing to harass Peter Schoenemann for 8th position, but there's only a minute left in the race. So Luke Mitchell, I think might be able to fit in one more lap. We are getting towards the end of the race then, and Hargitay really needs to clear Peter Schoenemann if he can. There's Chris Hood trying to fight that with the back of Staffan Nilsson. Josh Hughes getting involved as well. This is a great fight for 18th position then, with Chris Hood in 19th, and then Josh Hughes trying to go all the way around the outside at Oggies and completely misjudging that one. That's going to lose him a bit of time. But here comes Oliver Hargitay then. This could be his best opportunity. To the inside he goes. The rear tires complaining. The asked that a little bit too much of them, and I think he's going to be a little bit too far behind to make a move here. Oh, brief yellow flag there, but we're into the final 10 seconds of the race then. Luke Mitchell is about to... He's going to slow down to end the race as Novak gets a penalty, I presume, for cutting the track. The timer runs out then, and Luke Mitchell, on his first race, second weekend of the season for Underbet Simulation, wins race 1 at Snetterton. A brilliant performance, 8 seconds ahead of Bradley Sellers. But here is the fight for 8th position, and a last-ditch attempt up the inside, all from Oliver Hargitay, and he's done it, muscling his way through with just enough space there for him to clear Peter Schoenemann. That was a brave overtake at the last possible opportunity, and Oliver Hargitay, by the skin of his teeth, he left it late, but 8th position is his, and this battle isn't over yet either for 18th. Staffan Nilsson trying to get back ahead of Chris Hood, and that looks like Hughes has cleared the both of them somehow in this final lap. Nilsson, does he dive up the inside of the final corner? No, Josh Hughes messes up, so it's going to be a drag race to the line for 18th position, and Chris Hood has surely got the superior run here. Is he going to be able to clear Josh Hughes at the line? No, Hughes holds it. Hughes will finish 18th there. Wow, what a finish. You think that Oliver Hargitay is going to be allowed to hold at 8th place there with Peter Schoenemann?
I'm going to have to take another look for sure at that one. Let's see if...
fingers crossed.
We get a report or
completely
not.
unbiased perspective, of course, but you're the Finn of Honda guy, Pascal, so you're hoping Peter gets to keep it. Peter gets to...
It was very robust. If you do it in real life, I guess you're going to end up with a broken car, so we will see.
We're on slowing down, but it is a glorious race one then for Luke Mitchell, and this is really advantage to Underbet Simulation, the Teams Championship, because they got first, 7th and 8th, whereas Rookie Monsters have got 2nd and 6th. But there you go. So Luke Mitchell takes his first win of the season ahead of Bradley Sellers. That adds to the second place that Luke Mitchell got in race 2 at Donington Park. Pitbull Kiss, a well-earned podium. I think that's one of his first podiums of the season as well. In third, ahead of Scott Sovic then. And Sovic did defend very, very robustly, but perhaps Rookie Monsters would have preferred if he had not done so. Louis Hartley, he manages his tyres well to beat Jeffrey Ellis to 5th position. Mike Bell, despite being caught up in that collision, he limits the damage, gets the car home in 7th. Oliver Hargitay with that last corner overtake gets himself 8th. Schumann. Davide Zanini rounds out the top 10 in a very tidy drive for Optimal Esports. In P11, it's Nick Homewood who finishes exactly where he started, ahead of Nathan Howard in the XRL. Luca Gray, after his incidents, recovers up to 13th, ahead of Justin Royan. Savigny is 15th, ahead of Francisco Perez. Maxime Bulio is 17th for Optimal, ahead of Josh Hughes, past Chris Hood and Staffan Nilsson in the final few laps. And then it is Gabor Vagic rounds out the finishes from William Novak, who retired late on. Andy Horton, who finished 8 laps down. And Louis Hesketh, also retired, I think is our sole unclassified finisher for Scuderia Morea. So we are going to see a replay now. Pascal is going to kindly show us some action in that race.
Already switching sessions, so no more replays.
Okay, a bit too late then, unfortunately. So the session already switched over, so unfortunately we won't get to see any replays of that because I took too long to read out the result screens, clearly. But anyway, so this sets us up very, very nicely for race 2 then. So reminder, the drivers using the option tyre in race 2 are William Novak for XRL, Justin Royan for Optimal, Gabor Vagic, Oliver Hargitay is going to use the soft tier, Davide Zanini as well, Andy Horton, Maxime Bulio, and that's it. So highest place of all those drivers, I believe, is Hargitay in 8th, although we did see Zanini in 10th as well. So both of those could be threats if they manage the soft tyres well. We did see Louis Hartley deciding to nurse them early on and then push later on, whereas Rookie Monsters did the opposite, especially with Jeffrey Ellis, and lost out as a result. Well, any learnings then to take while we prepare for race 2? Did you?
I think we're gonna see another win from who just won? I forgot. Sorry. Oh yeah, of course, Luke Mitchell. I think he's gonna be in a good position to take another one. I mean, he just did the same thing with the same ballast, so unless we're gonna see a challenge into turn 1, I think he has a high chance to take another win here already.
It is good news, though, of course, for Mike Bell and Hargitay, who have got slightly less ballast, and Hargitay, of course, has got the soft tyres, so see if Hargitay can get a clean start, him cutting his way through the lower end of the top 8 and potentially challenging for 4th or 5th if he plays his cards right. But anyway, this is going to be very interesting. I think also, like you say, Luke Mitchell can pull away. He won't have the buffer that he did at the start of race 1 this time. He will have Abby Sellers behind him on the grid. So if Sellers makes a good start, we could be in for a very, very interesting race for the win. Behind, I think it's going to be very, very intense as well. Keep your eyes out on a Kiss as well, who, let me have a think. Kiss used the softs in race 1, of course, already, so that's why he was so quick in 3rd. But we have also got the likes of Mike Bell, Savigny, Hood, Hesketh, Gray, Homewood, Newman, I think he's not showing up today, Mitchell, Sovic, and Nilsson, all using the softs in race 3 as well. We see the practice session get underway. There's a little warm-up for the drivers. And while we're waiting, we can also have a little browse through the chat, which I haven't set up beforehand, so it may take me a few seconds to just get it up on my phone and have a look. Look at Louis Hartley just crawling around. I think he's anticipating going to be a short hold before the start. people watching at the moment, so Joshua Hamilton says this is some good racing. I'm not sure if he means that sarcastically or not, but Sovic definitely put on a show, if nothing else, and there were some good fights up and down the field. So I'm sure you're going to hear at the end of this some interesting comments, probably from Mike Bell on the collision ahead of him that he couldn't have avoided. I imagine he'll be a little bit annoyed.
Yeah, it almost looked like it would have been cleared up, then it actually unraveled even more towards the end and got him caught up in it all.
Yeah, must be just a bad evening for everyone with all the heat. Everyone's decided just to go outside because there's 3 people watching at the moment. One of them is Joshua Hamilton. One of them I'm pretty sure is me, and I think the other one might be you, Pascal.
No, I don't have it open, so that's one other person.
Okay, so there's one other person. Hello, mysterious third party. Hope you're enjoying it. It's not Josh, is it? Wouldn't surprise me. I imagine quite a lot of people are probably also watching GPVWC Super League at Monza. I can give you a brief update on how that's going, actually, for those interested who can't bring themselves to look away. This practice session. 33 people watching there. Let's have a look. It's Jake Dennehan leading Jan Grankvist on lap 3 at the moment, with Luke Maguire in 3rd. Anyone interesting we would know? Results Zooks in 10th. Panzer winner last time out down in 14th. Carlos Martin, a good friend of ours, in 16th in the HRT. He's a substitution driver, and they got Dylan Platt driving as well, down in 19th. Just commentating on a different race now, aren't I? There you go. So Dennehan, as expected, championship leader in the Super League, is starting to pull away from Jan Grankvist there. So in terms of EERC British touring cars, we see warm-up, I think.
Looks like
warm-up's nearly done, isn't it? Yep. Okay, so it's going to be Luke Mitchell and Bradley Sellers on the front row. Kiss behind. Bass from race 1 is going to apply, so Luke Mitchell, here we go. So it's going to be Sovic in 4th, Hartley 5th, Ellis 6th, Mike Bell 7th, Hargitay on the softs in 8th, Schoenman 9th, Zanini on the softs in 10th, Homeward behind. So absolutely crucial for Bradley Sellers to make a killer getaway here, but Luke Mitchell is a dab hand at this. He is going to try and get to the inside as soon as possible, or potentially just make a clean, better getaway and slowly pull away. He won't have the luxury of Sovic, Hargitay to those behind on this occasion. Remember, at the end of this race, it'll be a reverse grid draw. I believe it's, is it 15th place that you need to finish in, Pascal?
What did you ask me?
It's grid.
I was just setting things up, sorry.
I can't remember where you have to finish to be in the reverse grid draw.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna figure out after the race with our nice Wheel of Fortune. So far, we always did double 2-digit reverse grids, but we're starting.
Yeah, and they're about to go off any second now. And race 2 is underway at Snetterton, and it's not a good getaway for Kiss, but it is a good getaway off the line for Bradley Sellers, but not as good as Luke Mitchell, who has just got the car length ahead that he needs as they go side by side. The one into riches, and who's going to come out with a fortune? It is going to be Luke Mitchell on the outside, but Sellers breaks late on the inside, pushes Mitchell wide at Montreal hairpin, and Sovic is now up to 3rd. This Kiss has got Mike Bell for company in the battle for 4th, but Mitchell second now. He's 75 kilograms of ballast. Oh, and contact between Tipple Kiss and Mike Bell, with Tipple Kiss trying to go up the inside and himself around, but Mike Bell holds on to that 4th position crucially as through Nick Homewood then into 13. Sellers leading Mitchell, Sovic, Bell, Ellis, Zanini up to 6th ahead of Hargitay, then Schumann and Louis Hartley down to 10th, so not down to 11th actually, because through has gone Howard. Oh, And Hargitay down to 9th, so not a good lap for Oliver Hargitay. He finds himself a little bit shuffled out here, fighting with Louis Hartley. And tagged around and into the wall goes Oliver Hargitay, and that's a big shame. He's not going to be able to take advantage of those softs now. That was a little bit unsighted there. Either him or Hartley just didn't see the other, and that led to disaster for the pair of them. But here comes Peter Schoenemann trying to clear. That must be Howard in the XRL ahead of him, and into Brundle and Nelson they go, and a little bit of contact made by Peter Schoenemann. There's Nick Homewood and Hughes in trouble then, both of them going off track and losing places. Mitchell, by the way, is 9/10 behind Bradley Sellers, so even with that 75 kilograms of ballast and the not as good, a bit of a suboptimal start, Luke Mitchell has stayed close with the back of him and pulled a little bit of a gap to Sovic behind in 3rd. Oh, as Peter Schoenemann gets well over the curb there, and Luca Gray is going to trouble him down the main straight here. But here comes Sovic then, he's going to try and make a move on Mitchell, and he's got Bell behind, who of course has been able to jump his championship rival Jeffrey Ellis. I believe they are level on points going into this race as Luke Mitchell gets a little bit sideways and gets defensive into Montreal Hairpin. And this is beautiful for Bradley Sellers because it's going to allow him to pull away from Luke Mitchell while he's defending from Scott Sovic. As we see a battle going on in the background between Wanda Finn of Ons, that must be Ruan and Hartley, I think, battling over 10th. That was a bit action-packed, wasn't it, Pascal? But it's just slightly started to settle down now. Here are our top 5. Still relatively close together, but second ahead now. Bradley Sellers is of Luke Mitchell. Like I said, now starting to defend. Mike Bell also starting to defend a little bit from Ellis here as well. So, it's very, very even, but at the moment, advantage rookie monsters over Hunter Birch Simulation with Scott Sovic trapped in the middle here between the pair of them.
Yeah, but another nice clean start. Not that often that we see it this season so far, but both races with nice clean start.
I think Oliver Hargitay would argue it wasn't as clean a start. He's got back up to 15th at the moment, as here we go, Mitchell with that 75 kilograms of ballast, getting defensive. Sovic with his 48 kilograms of ballast. Sovic would be slightly more, wouldn't he? Because he finished 3rd in race 1. Mike Bell, probably the least ballast of the 3 of them. He has got, of course, a very, very quick Jeffrey Ellis for company behind him. But Sovic now very, very close to the back of Luke Mitchell as they go through towards the final con. All 4 of them bunching together then. Mike Bell was a little bit compromised in his exit there, trying to avoid the back of Scott Sovic. But he's setting purple sectors now, which makes sense because we are into lap 2. Bradley Sellers sets a 153.6. But here comes Sovic around the outside into turn 1. Mike Bell sees this happening. Luke Mitchell holds up the Bowlers Esports driver, and that's going to allow Mike Bell to slot himself up the inside. And the Hunter Birch Team Simulation drivers need to make sure they don't run into each other. Bell pushes Sovic a little bit wide in revenge for the previous race, and now Ellis also wants revenge. He makes a bit of contact with Sovic, who lifts his wheels, who almost turns over at Odgies and loses 2 positions there in a couple of corners. But now it's a Hunter Birch Simulation 2-3. Mitchell has got to make the decision now. Is he going to let Mike Bell through here to try and challenge Bradley Sellers, or are they going to race each other and think about Ellis behind them?
I would assume they're going to try the former.
And Hargitay is out of the race. So Oliver Hargitay in the 3rd Hunter Birch car, tired. So that is very bad news. Good news for rookie monsters because Newman, running in 17th, is going to score crucial points. So we see now a replay. Happened here. So Hargitay was side by side with that Chris Hood. And Chris Hood spun him out. So that's the 2nd time in the race that Oliver Hargitay has been spun into the wall. This time at Oggy.
Yeah, but both of them are
great damage for Oliver Hargitay.
Not much Chris could have done there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Both running out of tarmac, and then Oliver just still coming over.
Just got a little bit too close for comfort. Kiss making a double move on Schoenemann and Hartley, and Bulio getting through as well. So now the back end at the top 10. But interestingly, it's Justin Royan who's doing the best on the softs at the moment. But here they come down the main straight once more. Sellers, 2.3 seconds ahead of Mike Bell. And now Luke Mitchell is down to 4th, of course, after that, behind Jeffrey Ellis. I'm sorry, I had a bit of a issue on my end, so I didn't see.
Yeah, it looks like they tried to let each other through or something and messed that up, so it let Jeffrey Ellis through.
Oh dear. So another error from Hunterbird Simulation in this race then. So now Luke Mitchell has got to worry about Sovic behind him, because Ellis with less ballast is surely going to be all over the back. Mike Bell, although Ellis has got more. Bell's best hope is to try and catch Sellers. He has got the gap. But Rookie Monster's definitely strong position here. And this is where Mike, on his experience, to keep one Rookie Monsters at bay and close in on his teammate, as there is Zanini, I think, getting past Luca Gray. Zanini, of course, started on the soft and is making hay while the sun shines. Minutes to go then. Howard loses another place, this time to Zanini. Continues his rise up the order. Zanini could actually be catching Sovic before too long if he keeps up his current pace. Ray continues to plummet down the order, and now Royan is all over the back of him. Oh, look at this. Mike Bell really under pressure now from Jeffrey Ellis. Wants to make it a Rookie Monsters 1-2, just like they did in the previous race at Sachsenring in round 2. But Mike Bell determined not to let that happen. He's setting the best laps of the race and closing down on Bradley Sellers, as here's Nathan Howard making a move up the inside of Zanini, who gets the final corner all wrong and loses all the ground that he just worked so hard to make up. Here comes Luca Gray as well, getting through into 7th position. Zanini has now got Tibor Kiss for company as well. Kiss sits the best lap of the race. Bell is starting to get within a second now of Bradley Sellers, and he's starting to drop Jeffrey Ellis a little bit as well. See a yellow in the final sector. Tibor Kiss, almost hit in the back by Justin Royan there. And Royan is actually the highest placed man on the soft tyres. I don't think Zanini is actually on them. I think he's on the mediums of everyone else. So the tyre choice graphic actually lied to us there. Zanini's deciding, I think, at the last minute to change to race 3, as we see Howard trying to defend from a whole train of cars as Kiss goes around the outside of Royan, or at least tries to.
Royan actually going through on Kiss there. Yeah, Kiss obviously with the ballast from P3.
To Geese they go. You're getting Palmer corner and Oggies mixed up because they are right next to each other on the circuit map. But here is Mike Bell, right up to Lee Sellers. So these two know each other very, very well indeed. Mike Bell with less ballast has got a distinct advantage here. So none of the top 8 are on the soft tyre. All about the ballast here. Mitchell trying his best to keep up with Ellis, but here comes Luca Gray. Relieve Howard of that 6th position. But Howard has done an excellent job so far, Nathan Howard, in this race too. Be big points for XRL Esports, as here comes Mike Bell then, trying to slot one up the inside into turn 1, but thinks better of that, focuses on his exit, and now is going to be right on the tail. Bradley Sellers sticks to the mid of the road, tries to force Mike Bell the long way around and backs him into his teammate ever so slightly. So Rookie Monsters will try and get defensive here with 7 minutes to go, but Mike Bell looking very, very, very fired up now, has been absolutely setting the pace. 152.8 last time around compared to 153, I think 154.1 last time around, and a 53.0 for Mike Bell. Here comes Mike Bell up the inside into Agostini potentially. No, doesn't quite get the run he needs. So Bradley still is driving on his wing mirrors.
Really
Scott
nice
Sovic is actually keeping a lot of pressure onto Staker, and Luke Mitchell allows Sovic to get all over the back of him. Mike Bell is the filling a Rookie Monster bread sandwich at the moment, which I'm sure Rookie Monsters will be very, very happy about. Mike Bell determined to take victory here in race 2. Bradley Sellers, while they're fighting with them for the championship, Bradley Sellers will play fair here. not do anything too dirty. And in fact, not a great corner there for Mike Bell through Brundle and Coram they go. And again, Mike Bell actually gets a pretty good exit here. He's going to be dragging Jeffrey Ellis along with him down this straight. The Rookie Monsters have definitely not given up on trying to get a 1-2 here. This could go either way with 5 minutes left to go. Forward to pace himself. Try and set up the best possible opportunities. Again, Bradley Sellers gets defensive. Mike Bell tries to sell the dummy, but isn't quite enough to pull that one off. And he's going to get really delayed, actually. Pex here as Luke Mitchell trying involved as well in this battle. But it is a bit of a stalemate at the moment. Sovic also hasn't given up on trying to sneak a podium after his defensive drive in race 1. It is Zanini. Well, on the mediums, he's got his teammate Royan, who's now been able to get past him. So Royan on the softs. That's a strategic decision from Optimal Esports, I think. Justin Royan is now going to try and attack Nathan Howard, who has been overtaken by Luca Gray. Howard defended so well. Big position, but it couldn't last forever as Zanini now trying to fight back against Royan. So has Royan pushed the softs that little bit too far in this race 2? We'll have to see. Oh, up the inside goes Kiss on Zanini, but no room there as they go onto the Bentley straight. Kiss once again tries to set himself up for the inside. Brundle and Nelson. So now Mike Bell still all over the back of Bradley Sellers with less than 4 minutes remaining in the race. It is do or die then for Hunterbird Simulation. Mike Bell desperately trying outfox his friend and rival Bradley Sellers. He holds the inside down the straight. Team Rookie Monsters says the rear wing, but the Hunterbird Simulation car trying to get its nose alongside. Around the outside, he's going to try into turn 1, into Rich's. Mike Bell is briefly ahead. He's going to go all the way around the outside. Surely that's not going to work because Sellers is going to brake late on the inside for Montreal Hairpin, and indeed he does. Mike Bell sees that one coming, sets himself up for the exit, and it's going to be side by side for the lead then as they power down towards Oggies. Mike Bell is going to have to try once again the long way around here. Very intelligent driving from Bradley Sellers. A little bit of contact made, but nothing too major there. Bradley Sellers is going to try and hold once more the inside line. This is allowing Jeffrey Ellis to get involved as well. Mike Bell is going to be stranded on the outside here if he's not careful. Into Agostini they go. Mike Bell refuses to give up, refuses to yield, and once again has to go the long way around. We go into Hamilton. They go. This is where Mike Bell found disaster last time. This time he gets through, and Jeffrey Ellis on the inside of Sellers as well. So that has not worked out for Rookie Monsters. And now here's Luke Mitchell trying to punish Bradley Sellers even further. He's got the inside through Williams and onto the Bentley straight. Oh, they did so well not to spin each other out, but here comes Sovic now. He's going to try around the outside. Surely Scott Sovic is going to run out of room here, and Luke Mitchell just avoids pushing him onto the grass. But this is very, very tense indeed. Luke Mitchell, is he going to hold on? Sovic goes all the way around the outside, late on the brakes. Oh, and hits the side of Luke Mitchell. Luke Mitchell is going to be absolutely stranded here once more as they go through the bomb hole. But surely, oh, this is very, very robust. Sovic just touching wheels the whole way around the corner. And Luke Mitchell stubbornly refusing to give up that 4th place. He's got the inside for the final corner. He's going to try, locks up a little bit. And Scott Sovic is through. So it is Mike Bell leading Ellis, Sellers, Sovic, and Mitchell with 1 minute 40 left to go. So we got one more lap in this race then. And for Mike Bell, the finish can't come soon enough now that he's dispensed of both Rookie Monsters.
That was some very, very beautiful fighting there over the whole lap side by side. Really what you want to see.
Yes, I think Sovic is glad that it was Luke Mitchell alongside him and not one of the Rookie Monsters drivers, because that could have ended differently if it was. But we see in the background, I think there's still a huge fight for 6th going on. Gray leading Howard and Schooneman. There is Zanini trying to get past Schooneman and defending from Tibor Kiss, who's slowly made his way the order and is sort of stuck there. Zanini, of course, got his teammate Ryan, who the softs look like they've burnt out on Ryan's car at the moment because he's just lost ground in the last couple of laps. And Mike Bell still leading Ellis by 0.6 of a second. So, and that's Kiss up the inside then of Davide Zanini into Agostini. And Zanini is forced out wide onto the grass there. That was, Kiss wasn't really messing around there. He just fell through there, I think, into 9th position.
Just on the edge, I would say, because we're touring car racing here.
Still 4 attempts then behind Sovic. But it looks like Mitchell is going to have to settle for 5th in this race. But, unless Sovic makes a mistake, then we've got 10 seconds to go in the race. And Mitchell is just a few corners away from his 3rd or 4th victory of the season. And look at how defensive Scott Sovic is getting. That's going to have to force Luke Mitchell to get creative here. But it's Mike Bell that's going to lead home the Rookie Monsters home. Take another win for Hunter Birch Simulation. Fabulous drive for Mike Bell. He wins by just 0.9 of a second over Jeffrey Ellis and Bradley Sellers then. So Ellis will at least limit the damage in the championship by finishing 2nd then. So it is still 4 points now to the way it was, the gap between Bell and Ellis. Here come the 6th place battlers. Gray a long way actually ahead of Howard. He's going to hold on to 7th for XRL ahead of Schooneman, Kiss and Zanini. But look at how much Schooneman's defending there. That must be Hartley actually, sorry. And with Nick Homewood ahead of him in 13th. There's Oliver Newman, who's going to score crucial points for Rookie Monsters. So that is going to limit the damage in the team's championship. Between, of course, Newman was driving for Hunter Birch Simulation. But unfortunately, the other Oliver has filled in and wasn't able to finish the race. So as a team owner, you would say slightly regretful, but I don't think it was really Oliver Hargitai's fault that him and Hartley came to blows on that first lap. It was just one of those things, and that sort of destroyed his race essentially. There's Louis Hesketh going on a bucking Bronco ride to the wall, and is Louis Hesketh even going to finish in the Scuderia? I'm not sure why Louis Hesketh is pushing quite so much. He is ahead of almost a lap ahead of Stefan Nilsson as well. But I think Louis Hesketh just trying to have some fun there. Here he comes then. We are going to see results. So it is Mike Bell that leads home a Rookie Monsters 2-3 after an excellent drive. 6th on the grid to 1st. Sovic ahead of Luke Mitchell with some very, very brave driving as Mitchell holds on with maximum ballast to 5th position. Luca Gray is going to finish 6th for Scuderia Marrera. It is Nathan Howard who holds on to 7th from Peter Schooneman, Tibor Kiss and Davide Zanini, who finishes where he starts. Justin Royant couldn't get the option to last. He finished 11th. Maxime Bouillot, his teammate. Nick Homewood gets 13th ahead of reigning champion Louis Hartley. Andy Horton is 15th ahead of Rookie Monsters' Oliver Newman. Gabor Vacic is 17th ahead of Louis Hesketh. Then it's Stefan Nilsson, who is our last finisher, and Josh Hughes, Thomas Savigny, Oliver Hargitai, Chris Hood, William Novak, and Francisco Perez round out the non-finishers.
Replays in this time around.
There we go. I was a bit quicker this time, so we can get the replays in as we wait for our final race. We of course got the surprise draw to come. So there is one of the XRLs being tapped around by, that's Chris Hood, I think. It is this Newman? Newman goes straight on.
After the race.
There we go. That's after the race. All the Hunter Birches and Newman just messing around there, I think. No, was that one of the other Rookie Monsters? It might have been Bradley Sellers, I think. And that looks like Kiss spinning it at Alton. Oggies, sorry. Is the start of the race. So you've got Mitchell with Sellers alongside him, then Kiss. And watch for Mike Bell. That's probably going to be the one you want to watch. So there we go. He's slow start from Hartley. So he threads between himself and Ellis. Ellis on the outside into turn 1. Just goes clean around the outside of Jeffrey Ellis. Wow, that took a lot of confidence there. And he's got, I think that's Tibble Kiss ahead of him. Oh, so the leads ran a little bit wide, and that creates the opportunity for Bell. Alongside Kiss to go downhill towards Palmer. Bell goes around the outside of Kiss. Oh, I'm leaning towards a racing incident, honestly, but this is
not much. That
Hood incident.
Yeah, Hood could do there really. Running out of space.
Yeah, because they'd lock wheels at that point as well, so there was no avoiding it. I think it was the Mike Bell one. He was a bit more ahead on that one. I don't think Oliver was. He was alongside, but he wasn't quite enough alongside to get the space he needed there. Maybe backing out would have been more set, but he seemed really fired up after being spun around on the first lap.
Understandably,
yeah. Perhaps keen to get the advantage of those soft tires. So we're going to see the spin. Reverse grid pole, then here we go. The wheel counting down. It's going to be a 6th place finisher. Remind me that's who was behind Luke Mitchell. It was Luca Gray, wasn't it?
Possibly.
Was Gray, I'm pretty sure. Because I remember the top 5, and then Gray was about 7 seconds adrift.
That's the first time we have a single-digit reverse grid this season.
Oh, so, Luca Gray, very, very fortunate. Take advantage of it then, I guess, because usually it would be one of the lower numbers. That's going to be how does the grid get reversed again, Pascal? Remind me. Can be Luca Gray on pole from. Is it just top 6?
Yeah, it's the top 6. Yeah.
So Luca Gray on pole from Mitchell, Scott Sovic, Bradley Sullers, Jeffrey Ellis, and then Mike Bell. And the tire choice as well. Who is yet to use? Mike Bell, of course, has got the options for race 3. This has Savigny, Hood, Hesketh, Gray, who's on pole, crucially, so even more lucky for him. Nick Homewood, Oliver Newman, Luke Mitchell, of course, crucially starting on the front row as well. So a lot of our front runners saving the best till last. Scott Sovic has got them as well, as has Stefan Nilsson. I think that's of our top 6, 3 or 4 of them. I think 4 of them, apart from the Rookie Monsters drivers, have got the softs.
Will be another interesting race there. What a beautiful battle between Bell and Sellers there. Over the whole lap almost.
With the reverse grid. It's going to be more of the same, isn't it? With Bell trying to overtake both of them once more. Mentioned to Kiss for getting back into the top 8, 9 by the end of it. And spun around on the first lap with that incident with Mike Bell.
No, that was actually his teammate, Vajic.
It was his teammate, it was Vajic, wasn't it? Correctly. A bit hard to tell, especially when you see the replays. And
I forgot to leave the name tag reference.
But it's not a big deal. Like I've got an okay memory. It's just not perfect. Let's have a look and see what the chat has made of what we've just seen. Snetterton providing great racing. So Josh Hamilton says, "I will always be here." Checo, which is Thomas, says, "Sorry guys, couldn't be there." Nice little contrast with Joshua Hamilton there. But, remember, it is, of course, random weather for race 3. At the moment, bright and sunny. We could see somebody caught out if it does randomly start raining and nobody switches to the right tires in time. But Pascal, what do you make of Luca Gray's chances of victory here? He's got Luke Mitchell, who's got about the same ballast, and he's also got soft tires alongside him.
Got Sovic. He normally has the speed, but often there's one or two things where he just doesn't have the consistency, so it would be a hard task for him to stay ahead.
It's going to be very, very interesting, but I would not bet against Luke Mitchell being able to take a second win from the meeting.
Definitely a possibility.
Of course, on debate simulation, very important to get the third car of Hargitai back into the race and refocused. Fingers crossed.
On the server, so I think should be fine there. But he's gonna have a hard task to get through the whole grid, basically.
I was just looking at the 100-bit simulation chat, and he sounded very, very disconsolate. Says, I won't repeat what he said because it's probably not the kindest thing to the championship. He says he doesn't. He says he doesn't enjoy fighting with people who fight for P14 like it's the race win.
I mean,
I think he clearly blames Chris Hood for that one.
Well, I don't think he can blame him there at all. Outbreaking himself and leaving no space on the
Hartley, he
outside.
was blaming. It might have been Hartley he was talking about, but Civic. But anyway,
I mean, if you have any issues, you know where to send them. I'm looking at them after the race.
Yeah. Imagine there'll be one or two reports, especially race one with the whole Sovic defending from the rookie monsters. Might be investigated. But
here we go.
See now, race 3 then. So your grid is going to be Luca Gray from Luke Mitchell, Scott Sovic, Bradley Sellers, Jeffrey Ellis, Mike Bell, Ethan Howard, Peter Tibor Kiss, and Davide Zanini. Of course, by Justin Ryan, Maxim Bulio, Nick Homewood, Louis Hartley, Morton, Newman, Vajic, Hesketh, Nilsson, Hughes, Savini, Hargitai, Hood, Novak, and Pires. That's your entire order then. Grid populates, and we get ready to go for our final race of the day. Luca Correa's got a big, big opportunity to score a breakthrough win here. Area Morera Blossom have not had the best rub of the green so far. Luca Correa, very, very tough driver to overtake, so Luke Mitchell has certainly got his work cut out for him. Sovic as well, looking pretty menacing behind. About the rookie monsters, they may not have the soft tires, but teams will hold up well across this race as the lights turning on now. They're about to go out, and the final race of the day is underway. And that was a very, very early start, I think, from Luca Gray, but didn't look like he jumped it. He might have timed it absolutely perfectly then. Luke Mitchell a little bit slower. Has Sovic trying to go around the outside of him into turn 1, and Scott Sovic does it, but also Mike Bell does it again around the outside of Jeffrey Ellis into the Rich's corner, and wide goes Sovic, which creates an opportunity for Luke Mitchell, who goes side by side. And I'm getting flashbacks to race 2 here with a Hunter Burt trying to go around the outside, then into Palmer. Mitchell backs off. Scott Sovic to hold the position there, but all of this is allowing Luca Gray to slightly pull away then around all the top 3 on the soft tires then, and Luke Mitchell have a look at Scott Sovic, but is not able to overcome him. Now Bradley Sellers has got Mike Bell for company. Mike Bell already looking up the inside as they approach Hamilton. And Sovic now starting to harass us. That looks like Mitchell in trouble. Mitchell spun off.
Are we having a restart?
So I'm not sure what happened there. And there's an XRL facing the wrong way. And there's 2 Hunter Birches in complete difficulty there. And this has gone completely pear-shaped. And is that a red flag?
It looks like we're going to have a restart.
It is a red flag.
Reason.
Guess that a lot of people got disconnected there, but that was through that lap just got absolutely chaotic there coming out of Agostini and into Hamilton, and it was a little bit hard on my end to see exactly what happened there.
No, I'm not sure either.
This gives us a reset then. Be the same with Gray Mitchell. I think it might have been the start, because a lot of people seemed like it's the start for some reason or other. There you go, Sovic getting on the grid then.
A nice move there around the outside of the first corner from Sovic. Really losing all the momentum and then almost messed it up in the next corner, but still hit the advantage. Let's see if he can do it again. But I guess Mitchell...
Take two!
Yes.
Race of the day. Luca Gray leading. The light's about to go out, and race 3 will get underway for real this time. Away we go, and Ermolenko already gets a penalty at the back, but beautiful getaway this time for Luke Mitchell, who's alongside Luca Gray with Scott Sovic right behind the pair of them. Mitchell has got the inside into turn 1, but Luca Gray is going to hold on to the throttle around the outside, but he's going to be as they go into the Montreal hairpin. Brilliant getaway as well for Bradley Sellers, who's trying to go around the outside of Sovic, but now Luke Mitchell is going to be sandwiched in between Gray and Sovic has to slot into third as we see somebody going well onto the grass there. Luke Mitchell sweeps around the outside of Luca Gray to complete the move. The lead from the Scuderia Marera drivers. Sovic is on the grass again, and that's going to lose some positions of not one but 2 rookie monsters, as this time Mike Bell is more circumspect, watches the group up ahead and waits for his moment. Scott Sovic still alongside, refusing to give up against Jeffrey Ellis. 4th position, but makes contact. And there we go. Still on the inside then, as they go through to Oggies and now Williams. Mitchell leading Gray, Sellers, Sovic, Ellis, and Bell. That's your top 6, and they're starting to pull away a little bit from Nathan Howard, who leads Zanini, Kiss, Hartley, Bulio, Ruyan, and Bajic. And so the battles, they continue. Look like Hargitai did get in the race. He's still down in 25th behind Ermolenko, of course, jumped the start. And will have to come in for a drive-through penalty. Luke Mitchell has got the gap to Gray to 7/10, so I think Luca Gray is going to find himself on the defensive before too long. Sellers, Scott Sovic, of course, is on the softs as well. So expect rookie monsters to be under pressure here, as they were in race 2 as well. Oh, look at that. Howard really starting to pressurize. Must be Kiss, who makes a mistake, walking up into the final corner. Oh, big crash, and Howard, that brilliant move, is in the wall at the final corner, just before the pit lane there, actually. So he hasn't got a long way to go for repairs, thankfully. But here comes Sovic. Sovic is overcome by Jeffrey Ellis into turn 1. And that's bad news for the man on the soft tyres. Are him or Mike Bell saving the softs for later on, I wonder? An attack on the Ricky Monsters. With that is that Bradley Sellers could be up the road by the time they've done that. Anyway, 14 minutes to go. Once again, he's in a position where he can just focus on pulling away on those soft tyres. Gray's got to worry about behind. Oh! As they all bunch up into Agostini. A mistake there from Ellis. And Sovic and Bell really just bunching up on the soft tyres with nowhere to go there. This is sort of allowing Bradley Sellers to escape from all 3 of them. And the pack then. So Luca Gray is staying just within a second of Luke Mitchell, but Mitchell keeps setting purple sectors, gradually pulling away. Bradley Sellers half a second down. Then it's Ellis, 7/10 behind Sellers. Sovic and Bell just a couple of tenths behind, and Davide Zanini 1.6 back as Kiss makes his way past Maxime Bulio for 10th, and Justin Ruyan as well. Oh, Mike Bell really pushing to get the most out of those softs, but actually losing a bit of time there. The 2 rookie monsters being backed up by Luca Gray here. Sellers looks like he's very, very keen to make a move. All these 3 off on the medium tyres. So somebody's come to grief in the final sector there. Looks like Kiss being overtaken by Zanini once more, as tries to position himself for the outside here. Has to brake in the middle of, which allows Jeffrey Ellis to get alongside his teammate right behind him. Luca Gray once more just cuts to the inside. And if you thought Scott Sovic defended hard in race 1, wait till you see Luca Gray gets more and more intense. Mike Bell is already caught back up to the back of Scott Sovic now. A train. I can't count. Continues. Mitchell now 4 seconds ahead of Luca Gray. He is just absolutely making hay and broken away. Interested in what's going on a bit further back. Schoenemann, Novak, and Homewood are out of the race, so bad news for Finn Avond. Newman has gotten himself up to 14th, Hargitay up to 17th then. And of course, is another of those drivers on the soft tyres. Vivek made the best of his soft. He's got a really good exit there, but nowhere to go because Bradley Sellers, Jeffrey Ellis, sorry, was just defending there. And Sovic, the inside, is he going to get the he needs here? Oh, that's going to be late, and he's going to have to back out at the last minute there for and Nelson's. So this could potentially allow Mike Bell to take advantage here. Gray continuing to be hassled by Sellers then. Just elongates in front of him. Here's Luke Mitchell just disappearing from frame. Oh, Sovek losing the rear end and crashing into the back of Bradley Sellers there and spinning him around. Almost Bradley Sellers somehow held on to that one. But now Mike Bell is through and Mike Bell going around the outside.
I was surprised. I was looking for where Ellis would end up, but somehow he's arrived there.
That was amazing car control from Bradley Sellers, but not enough to hold Mike Bell at bay. And Mike Bell, that was an absolute gift there from Scott Sovik because gains 2 positions in one corner and now is unleashed to fight against his Bradley Sellers. Of course, he was fighting Jeffrey Ellis in the championship as well, so that was an absolutely crucial moment in the race for Mike Bell to try and extend his advantage. The other thing, though, is he doesn't chew through those softs too quickly at this point, as their Sovic again kicks up the dust and has now got Louis Hartley, who's got past Kiss, giving him a bit of trouble then. So we are now seeing a 6-car fight, second position before too long. Once more splitting the rookie monsters like we saw in race 2, having an absolutely excellent meeting here at Snetterton. Although I've heard a lot of Robert Strachan described Snetterton as something else, I think, in the Hunter Birch Simulation Discord. Rude amalgamation of it. But there we go. We go into the final 10 minutes of the race. Mitchell is now nearly 5 seconds ahead of Luca Gray. Sovic hasn't given up at Jeffrey Ellis, but he needs to make a cleaner move. He tried the lap before. Here we go, up the inside through Nelson's into bomb hole. And Scott Sovic got the inside. Yes, he has. That was a fantastic move, actually, from Scott Sovic. Caught Ellis somewhat napping there and used the best of the soft tyres. Battle for second, absolutely heating up as Bell closes on Sellers and Gray. Oh! And there we go. It's not going well at all for Jeffrey Ellis, lifting side wheels and losing 2 more places. Yeah, I've got a phone call, unfortunately. I might have to hang up. Sorry about that. There we go. So, it's to go then. And it is Luke Mitchell, Gray by 5.7 seconds. But this is the battle that our attention is focused on between Mike Bell and... Hi, Dad. I'm going to have to call you back. I'm doing commentary. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Right, anyway, sorry about that. I would ask you to fill, Pascal, but I know you're not very good at that. So. Anyway, so 8 minutes to go then. See, Bradley still is continuing to pressurize Luca Gray, who, fair play to him, losing out to Luke Mitchell. He has actually defended incredibly well here in place.
Yeah, which would make you think, what if we didn't have to restart, if Luca would have been able to hold on for P1 even then. But even P2 would be a really good result.
I feel like... Yeah, either way, I think it would be his first... Has he finished on the podium before this season, Luca Gray? I think he's gotten close a couple of times. He hasn't, but he's certainly a certainly had some good opportunities that have not gone his way. So it is great to see him up front as all Bradley Sellers goes a little bit wide, and that's going to allow Mike Bell through the bomb hole and into Coram to get the inside. Oh, that was really opportunistic there. And now Mike Bell is onto the podium in third position then. So Bradley Sellers, this has not been going well. This is whatsoever then. They've got Luke Mitchell leading Mike Bell ahead of both of the rookie monsters as Vajic and Hargitay are both in trouble there. Hargitay in his battle with Savini and Vajic dropping behind Horton. Now in difficulties as well, so it's all getting mixed up at the lower end of the order. But Bell now has only got Luke Gray to test with. You can't afford to slip up and let Bradley Sellers back through, of course. Lee, who is pressuring the back of Scott Sovic, who another driver who's not really had things quite go his own way in this race, but is valiantly holding on to fifth at the present moment. Look at Louis Hartley. Is Hartley another one on the softs, is he, in this race? I believe he might be. No, he didn't in the first race. Sorry, I forgot about that. So this is actually very, very impressive because it's Sovic on the soft who, of course, had that collision earlier. Hartley just seems to be much more confident, seems to have a bit more grip, trying to take wider lines through these corners as Hargitay is retired again, sadly. Race in a row, which is bitterly disappointing for him with 6 minutes left to run. I think he's already sent an angry message in the Hunterbird Simulation Discord. But here comes Louis Hartley through Nelson, trying to just wait for Scott Sovic to slip up. But this is what the rookie monster drivers found. First race, of course, that it can be so difficult to pass Scott Sovic when he is defending incredibly well. And he has got the soft tires to use as he locks them up just a little bit through the final corner, lifts a few wheels, and now could be the opportunity. Louis Hartley, our reigning champion, to snatch fifth position. He goes to the side as Mike Bell is also closing right upon. But Louis Hartley is surely going to swing around the outside, hold on side by side. First corner, no, he does not. He actually tries to position himself for the hairpin. This is going to be very, very good driving from Louis Hartley as up ahead again defends. But Sovic was just able to hold on. So Louis Hartley did not quite have the overlap that he looked to trying to gain there.
Two nice moves.
Zanini in trouble, losing 2 positions.
First one from Hartley, and then Sovic with the last defense. Really nicely done. We have Nielsen and P11. That's decent.
Going very, very well indeed. Ahead of Oliver Newman in the rookie monsters, and behind Zanini, who we just saw lose a couple of places. Zanini not looking too comfortable. Is Nielsen another one on the soft tires, of course. Explains his improved pace here. It's Royan just doing a bit of grass cutting there. Inside into Hamilton and Oggies goes Stefan Nielsen. Into Williams. Around the outside goes Zanini to hold on to the place. There's a good defense actually from Zanini. He got the superior run here. Nielsen on the soft might try and hang it out in the Swedish liveried car. Instant racing machine, of course. But impressive stuff from Nielsen, of course, has kept his powder dry for the final race. His tip or kiss. Jeffrey Ellis, of course. Ellis, who was near the front earlier on, but is good. And Tibler Kiss could take crucial points off of Jeffrey Ellis in the Drivers' Championship with minutes to go. Here comes Louis Hartley again. A run at Scott Sovic. I wonder if the softs are starting to wear a bit because Mike Bell has not looked as close to the back of Luca Gray. And Louis Hartley is all over the back of Sovic on his own softs. So Hartley using the mediums to good effect here. I think if Hartley can clear Sovic, he might have a run at Bradley Sellers as well. But not if he gets on the grass like that. And ticking away. Only 3 minutes left as Nielsen hits the back. But is able to get through, and that's going to allow Oliver Newman to join the party. But, I'll have to see after the race what Hargitai's comments. Whereas up the inside goes Kiss to force his way through Agostini and Jeffrey Ellis. So Rookie Monsters losing yet more points here. Simulation in the championship. Here is Mike Bell trying to make it a Hunterbird Simulation 1-2. We have only 2 cars left. They need points they can get. Mike Bell, slipstream down the straight. Soviet continues to defend from Hartley, not too far behind. You can see in the background. And then it is Bradley Sullers in the middle. And Luca Gray starting to slow up the pace here, but not too much. He is only about 8 seconds behind Mitchell. I thought the gap would be, considering the pace on the softs that Mitchell has. And Mike Bell getting very, very close as he sets himself up for the start-finish line. Into the Murray's corner they go. Another lap. They might only get 2 more laps in, actually, because Mitchell is in the middle of, I think, what's going to be the penultimate lap, depending on his pace. And Mike Bell has got the hurry up here because he's right behind, as through Louis Hartley trying to go another side-by-side run into Riches, but it is briefly Bell ahead, and Louis Hartley again try and get on the power as early as he can to cut underneath, and this time surely run, as Mike Bell again denied by Luca Gray, who's driving brilliantly on his mirrors, but it is Hartley that musters his way through on the inside at the Montreal hairpin to snatch position from Louis Hartley. Did what he did the lap before, and Sovic this time was powerless, as we see Nielsen now in the top 10 to overcome Justin Royan, as Zanini now all over the back of Oliver Newman. Newman, of course, on the soft tyres. He has just, I believe, gotten by Zanini. It's Josh Hughes down in 16th, fighting with Vajic, who has not had a great meetings at all, because he's barely, he's not finishing the top 10 in any of them. Great news for the Hungarian squad. Nilsson, who is having a good time, at least in race 3, could potentially get past Justin Roy into the top 9, which would be an amazing result for him. But, we've got to keep our eyes with 28 seconds to go. Where is Luke Mitchell? He's surely going through the final sector now, and he must have to do a 10th lap of the race here. But Louis Hartley is rapidly catching the back of Sellers. Here is Luke Mitchell, 13 seconds to go. It's going to be tight then, whether there's another lap or not. Luke Mitchell can afford to back off here and not do another, but want Mike Bell to get a chance of a second here. The time about to run out, and it's academic. The race is over, and Luke Mitchell, for the second time today, wins at Snetterton, and it is going to be Luca Gray that holds on to second place from Mike Bell, and then it is Bradley Stillers just holding Louis Hartley at bay, and Hartley will regret. Oh, it's Justin Roy, wheel lifts there, and that means it's going to be a drag race to the line, because Nilsson is going to pull alongside in the last racing car, and Justin Royan has got to hold his nerve here, stick his foot on the throttle, and that is enough. Hold on to 9th place there, but wow, you can tell who's got the loose suspensions and who's got the tighter suspensions, can't you, when they go over that inside curve. We see Thomas Sivigny going towards the line, and Josh Hughes get into 15th position, but Vajic is a little bit too far ahead of him to take advantage there. So it is 2 wins for Hunterbird Simulation. But, all in all, pretty even in the team's championship, because you've got to say that Rookie Monsters scored very well in race 2, covered okay with Newman into the top 11, even though Ellis and Sellers both lost positions. 1-3 for Hunterbird Simulation then, with Luke Mitchell getting home Luca Gray by 8 seconds, then Mike Bell just short of Luca Gray, but nonetheless a brilliant day for him. 2 races in a row on the podium and another race in 5th. Holds on to 4th best of the Rookie Monsters ahead of Louis Hartley. Sobic by Hartley to 5th. He finishes 6th ahead of Tibor Kiss, who ends on another strong day. Whilst the Hunter Birch cars each other, which is not ideal on the slowing down lap. The winner deserves a big hug and a squeeze, doesn't he? Does Luke Mitchell. So Jeffrey Ellis, 8th then. Only just ahead of Justin Royan and Staffan Nilsson, as it's getting chaotic in the background. And doing extremely well on the softs in the 127 to get into the top 10. He just misses out on the top 10 in his first weekend as a Rookie Monsters driver, I believe. Davide Zanini finishes 12th ahead of Chris Hood. Vigny is 14th ahead of Gabor Vagic. Hughes 16th. Maxime Bullier 17th. Francisco Perez 18th. Hesketh 19th. Andy Horton 20th for Celtic Racing. Then it is our last finisher, Alexander Ermolenko, with that start right at the beginning. And it's Oliver Hargitay retiring late on, as well as Peter Schunemann, William Novak, Comod, and Nathan Howard running out the entry list.
Replay time.
Yeah, we do have one driver who wants to have an interview with us, but we can see the replays now. Nick Homewood joins us as we just are trying to get the replays set up then. There's Nathan Howard and I think Tibble Kiss. Oh, so Kiss tagged him round the pit wall. He to save it and go through the entry there, but because he arrived sideways, that was huge damage there. Got a feel for Nathan Howard there because that wasn't his fault whatsoever. And this is what happened to Nick Homewood, tagged by the Scuderia Marrera and then collected by one of the XRLs as well. But that another unfortunate incident there where that one, Nick?
I think the less said about that race, the better. If you want a real one, Callie, go back to last corner, first lap.
And there's Peter Schumann turning over as him and William Novak come together. And whoa, was that one of the other Finavons avoiding? That wasn't you, was it, Nick? Trying to avoid that?
I was already dead at that point. It must have been Francisco.
Oh, there we go. And there is Louis Hesketh doing his curb hopping trick, as he was alongside Oliver Hargitay there, I think. Louis Hesketh, I think, losing it on his own because contact wasn't made. Louis Hesketh did at least finish. Here's Hargitay. This isn't going to make for fun viewing for me. Just gets spun around by the Scuderia Marrera along with the Finavons. Here we go. So he's trying to go up the inside of Vagic. Hits Vagic. Oh, and the bomb hole. They just came together there. And rule either way, but that looked a little bit... and he gets hit on the rejoin as well. I think Oliver Hargitay could be in trouble for that one, sadly. Collected somebody else there. It's a bit hard for me to tell.
Yeah, if he is trying to blame someone else there, I'm not sure about that. But that's for after the race to decide.
Should we drag in these interviewees?
Who do we have?
There we go. Scott, Luca, and Lou.
Sovic in then, I think, first of those.
Oh,
There we go. So we are now joined by Scott Sovic, Luca Gray, and Louis Hartley. So let's talk to Scott first. So, Scott, it was an interesting brace of races there for you. In the first race, you were defending very, very heavily from the Rookie Monsters, and there was a big incident with, I think it was Bradley collected in it as well. And then race two, you made an amazing move on Luke Mitchell near the end to take fourth. Race 3, Louis here made a brilliant move to take fifth away from you. Sorry. So I guess a bit of a mixed weekend for you in the end, but your pace was very strong throughout, Scott.
Yeah, no, considering the pace, I'm actually a bit disappointed just not to be on the podium. But, when you have small errors like I was making throughout those races, especially in race 3, where I was just completely throw away a good result there. But, the race 1, for example, I think that was me and Jeff just, I'm trying my best to give room, but obviously it's a bit difficult to try to give space into Hamilton, and most of the moves that are attempted there end up in some sort of contact. So I was just really unlucky, honestly, to see that Jeff end up in a half spin there. But race 2 as well. No, race 2 was quite good. I felt I was doing my best to defend. Obviously, I mean, there's a few moves I'm not very pleased with, but that is, I mean, you can't be perfect all the time. I mean, that is what it is. But yeah, just some moves in that race, just not very pleased with personally. And race 3, yeah, just I don't know. I feel like that's a bit of a lost opportunity. But I mean, in the championship, I mean, I'm looking more towards the overall championship. Obviously, I think I've got a bit of a points loss now towards the top 2 now. So it'll be interesting to see if I can claw that back. Obviously, it's going to be 30 something points now. So it's yeah, it'll be interesting to see what I can do going forward in the next rounds. So.
Absolutely, and of course, still leading the Independence Championship by a long way, of course, for what it's worth. A fantastic show you put on today, Scott, and I'm sure you'll get that podium back on the podium before too long. We know it.
Cheers.
So moving on, then let's move on to Louis Hartley, who of course is also waiting to be interviewed here. So Louis, it was again a little bit of a mixed day for you because race 1 was a little bit hectic. And race 2, of course, you also lost a little bit of ground. And then race 3, I think, was the strongest of all of them with that late move on Scott, and you were challenging even Bradley at the end. So it looked like you, of course, used the soft tires in race 1. Do you think you could have got a bit more out of them, or do you think that was about the best you could have managed?
No, I definitely could have got more out of race 1 because it was off to a strong start. My clutch pedal wasn't calibrated right in the slightest, so for the first 2 races I just completely bogged down because it wasn't picking up half of the input. So that lost me a few places at the start, and then I think halfway through race 1 around there happened to be a Hunter Birch car facing backwards directly in front of me that I couldn't avoid, so that cost me a bunch more places. So race 1 I was just sort of out of it because of having a terrible start and getting caught up in an accident that wasn't really my fault. Race 2, it was another one where I just bottled the start because I didn't know my clutch pedal was playing up. I sort of did what I could starting as far back as I did until I completely bottled it and took too much curb at the first chicane and spun. Race 3, as it always is, I start 14th and it happens to be the only one I stay out of trouble. So I finally figured out that the clutch was playing up, barely lifted off of it, and that was enough to give me a decent start, and then just tried to stay out of trouble as best as I could. Caught the pack at the end, but by the time I managed to get past Scott, I just didn't have enough time to try and catch up to the others.
Yeah, it's always the shame, isn't it? But I guess when you started 14th, you did really well to make up that ground in the first place. Were you thought there was a false start at the beginning of race 3 when it had to be restarted? Because it looked like a lot of people had trouble on that first start.
Yeah, I didn't get completely killed, but I was the furthest forward car that got involved in it. So although I came out of it, I think 12th when I started 14th, I was like 4 or 5 seconds behind the rest of the pack, so I wouldn't have been able to get the P5 if it wasn't for the restart.
Well, anyway, some more good points for Finnabond for our reigning champion, Louis Hartley. So thanks for coming to talk to us, Louis. Best of luck next time out in Long Beach.
I don't know if I'd call those points good, to be honest.
Points are points.
Yeah.
Anyway, loudly coughing and waiting his turn to be talked is Luca Gray, of course, who got his best result of the season, I believe, was second in race 3. But we can talk about the 2 races before. Race 1, I forget exactly what happened, Luca, but race 2, you had a great recovery to 6th, which is what put you in position for the reverse grid draw in the end. So, of course, I know you'll probably be a little bit annoyed that the race got restarted because you were ahead of Luke when that happened. And then the restart, Luke got the jump on you, and it was defending from the 2 rookie monsters and Mike for the rest of the race, which you did superbly, by the way. But talk through it then.
Yeah, so, well, race 1, I just have loads of screen freezes in race 1. And then I had one, I don't know what corner it is, at the end of the Bentley straight, the chicane. I had a screen freeze going into there and I just spun. And then I had loads more after that. It just cost me loads of time. Then I used softs as well, so I'm going to get a penalty for that. So I'm supposed to use them in race
when you
3.
weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
You could have gone into the pits and changed the mediums, but I guess you would have. No point with the screen freezes, right?
Yeah. And then race 2, I can't remember what happened. I just kept out
I think
of trouble,
you were
I guess.
behind and you got up to 6th by the end because a lot of the guys on the
Yeah.
softs in race 2 sort of ran out of grip midway through.
Yeah, I noticed that when in race 1 as well. They just died after about halfway. They just were uncontrollable really through the infield section. But yeah, it was okay. Race 3, I mean, I think it was quite good. Didn't crash. Apart from that, I'm happy. So
Yeah, I guess it's always a little bit annoying when the win was potentially for grass, but like I said, the defensive drive, you didn't put a foot wrong, and especially with this man, Mike Bell, was all over the back of you, weaving and ducking all over the place.
yeah,
And it must be so hard to just take every breaking point, meet every apex, and just not give that opportunity because this guy, Mike Bell, he just he doesn't need a second one.
Yeah, it was always into the hairpin turn 2. I always saw him trying to go for a move, but lucky he never got fully alongside, so that was good. And I also had a screen freeze on the second to last lap, but I don't know if you saw it. It almost put me behind.
We saw him get a little bit closer, but
yeah, that's what it was.
It was nothing to do with Mike at all. And whenever he closed in,
No.
there's always a screen freeze.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Anyway, best result of the season for Scuderia Marrera, and that must fill you with confidence, Luca, going into the next race, Long Beach, 28th of September.
No, I don't like that track, so.
Okay, well, forget what I said then. I must fill you with dread. Going into Long Beach, 28th of September.
Yeah,
anyway,
this is going to go horribly, I think.
Okay, well, always good to see you keeping a positive attitude, Luca, because that's what I know you for. But thank you very much for talking to us. Congratulations on the podium. You can join a well-earned glass of champagne after that one. So we move on then to Mike Bell, who's been waiting patiently. Mike, congratulations. So let's see, what were the results again? It was, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was about 8th or something in the first race. I don't actually
8th
know
in the first race.
Yeah, I was battling for the podium, and Scott and Jeff come together in front of me, and I'm there, and the gap's there, and the gap's closing, and I'm just sort of like, oh no, and bosh, around we went. But yeah, no, good comeback, especially after a really poor qualifying. So yeah, I think it was 8.
Especially with your teammates both on the front row. But again, everyone had 75 kilograms of ballast, which was the crazy thing.
I don't know what I was doing qualifying. I lost like half a second on a lap, and then I could never match it. It was just I'd have a good first half of the lap, be ballpark, and then just last complex just every time would mess it up. So I think I was happy with what I got in the end lap time wise, and then was it like 7/10 off pole or something, and I'm starting like 11th or 10th or 9th, somewhere down towards the back end of the top 10. And yeah, but no, I came up really well especially in the second race with a bit less weight. 75 kilos around Snet 300 was awful. And my sentiments were shared by Luke in the second race because he had the 75 kilos, and then I had it back for race 3, and I felt I could have got Luca, but every time I'm just coming out of quarters, it's just that little bit that was too much to overcome.
Let's talk a little bit about race 2 and the fight with Rookie Monster. So you went round the outside of Jeffrey Ellis at the first corner, which I thought was incredible to watch. It's difficult not to let a big cheer when you see stuff like that. But then you were sort of in the sandwich, weren't you? And it was waiting for Brad to make the mistake, get through.
Well, at the point in the race, I knew the strength of our car and our setup for this round was mid-speed corners, and that seemed to be the weakness of certainly the Rookie Monsters cars in like turn 3, turn 1, the turn onto the back straight. The name I forget. So I just knew
Murray's
with regards to Jeff in the first corner, just off the line, like just do what I can, hang out around the outside and hope it sticks. I knew theoretically that Brad's tires were going to come back to me through the race, so I was working my way up, kind of not really the same sort of predatory style, I guess, as normal, because wasn't so sure on the track. I had a bit of a pace lacking, and then the second I get clear, I'm chasing down the car in front of me and just banging the fastest lap, which unfortunately got beat. So I'm there thinking, okay, this might work out. And then best part of half a lap side by side with Brad, and I always enjoy racing with Brad. I enjoy racing with the RM guys. I'm running with them in endurance. Good mates, and I'm glad to be battling them for the championship, because I know that whatever it's going to be is going to be above board. And I'm just there with Brad, and to be honest, a lesser person would have just absolutely mullered me at that point, because we spent best part of half a lap just side by side, never quite clearing one another, and I managed to hold it around the outside. And from that point, I knew his tires were on the way out. My pace was okay, so it's just like try and build enough of a gap that if something should happen behind, because obviously there's 5 cars on one bit of track, if there's a accordion effect from the guy at the back just going, then I end up with a Honda flying at me, regardless of who's driving it.
Do you think, by the way, that going on the mediums are probably the better tire to be on at Snetterton on balance? Because it felt like
it's hard. It's hard for me to tell, because I was not great in the first race. Then I had a lot less weight in the second race, and then when I finally ran the softs, I was back to full mass. So it's tough for me to say. But looking at what Luke did, for example, it did seem that the softs were still the tire to beat on, if you could make them last. So for the rear-wheel drives, that would have been fine. Front-wheel drives would have had to work at saving them. So maybe it was a medium track for the front-wheel drive, but certainly not for the Infinity.
Certainly. And Long Beach is next then, so you keep the championship. I think you've extended it slightly over Jeff. And I think we may, I don't know what the teams table looks like, but I imagine it's still very, very close with Rookie Monsters. How are you feeling going into Long Beach with another 75 kilograms of ballast, Mike?
I must admit, I am really hoping I click with the track and get a good qualifying, because I don't see myself making too much progress if I have a bad qualifying at Long Beach, short of people around me sticking it in the wall. And I'm not going to be betting on myself to avoid that, or even to stay out of the walls. Like, it's one that you've got to really be careful of. And with 75 kilos, I'm just going to be a sitting duck practically everywhere, and just going to have to work around people. If someone wants to be a bit brave, stick their nose down into the roundabout, I've kind of got to deal with it. Like, there's not going to be much else I can do.
Roundabout. It's just like being back home, isn't it, in the UK?
Tell me about it.
Anyway, congrats on the win in race 2 and the podium in race 3, and on leading the championship, Mike. It's great to commentate on you winning a race for me for, I think, one of the first times as well.
And throw it out for Luke as well. Hunter Birch clean sweep for the day.
Of course, yeah.
Even though Luke carried us through that, but yeah, good fun.
Yeah, for some reason, I said in commentary that Rookie Monsters won race 2, but they finished 2nd and 3rd. So I was thinking in the teams table, they scored slightly more points in race 2. But I got confused. Yeah, you're right. Actually, we did win all 3 races, which is pretty insane. So Luke won 2, you won 1. So, yeah. Again, I said in the middle of the race, I'm not very good at maths, and I think I'm proving it now. Maybe it's the heat stroke. Anyway, thank you very much, Mike Bell. I think there's only 2 more people to talk to, and that is, shall we talk to Stefan if he's around? Is it Stefan, are you there?
Yeah, hey.
So congratulations, Stefan. I think that's your first, is it top 9, top 10 finish in race 3?
Yeah, thank you.
Tires?
Yeah, that was a nice P10. Felt good.
Yeah, last intent racing, not last intent.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, you were passing people left and right in that Swedish liveried car. It was
very
fun to
but,
watch.
Amazingly crafted by Nick, that livery, and just jumped in as a kind of last minute entry.
But yeah, you can jump in the last minute, but that doesn't mean that the time can't erase your skills. You still learnt those skills, and you showed them today, which was great to see. And there was even a good battle near the end, near the back in race 1. Was it? Was it between you, Josh Hughes, or was it Nathan Howard, one of the XRL guys?
I think it was Josh and Chris Hood. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had a good time back there. Swept places, and it was tight racing.
Absolutely, we enjoyed it too. Anything more to say? You looking forward to Long Beach, Stefan, or are you gonna just see if you can jump into the last minute or not?
Yeah, we'll see. Nothing is planned, but I hope I'll make it. The car is fun. The tracks are great too, so it's good action.
There we go. Ringing endorsement of EERC British Touring Cars there from Stefan Nilsson. Of course, takes his best result of the season. I think his first result of the season as well. these 3 results. So it would have to be his best. But I think we can move on to then our final driver who Stefan rightly credited as doing the livery, and that is, of course, Nick Homeward. So, Nick, we talked a little bit earlier. I think it's only fair you should get the final word then. Couple of 11th place finishes. It looked like there was a lot of battling out there for you, and of course, the day ended on a bit of a sour note with the retirement as well.
Yeah, race 1 was going well until I had a flip, which wasn't in the strategy, but got to add a bit of excitement in, haven't you? So I had a barrel roll.
I think Oliver and Vagic both went over the curb, but was it Hawthorne's? That's Brands Hatch. I'm thinking of it was Nelson's, wasn't it?
The last corner. I can't. Terrible.
Murray's is the final corner, but Nelson is the one, the chicane at the end of Bentley Straight. That's those were the 2 places where people were getting on 2 wheels.
As the last corner for me, executed a perfect barrel roll, destroyed the car, carried on, but it was damaged. So comeback drive, but without the coming back. And then race 2, I can't remember. Oh, race 2, I just kept Louis behind me the entire race. And then race 3, I lasted a lap because everyone decided that, I think their brakes must have faded over the first 2 races and they just stopped pressing them in race 3. Dive bomb at the last corner
as well, wasn't there? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was an incredible accident.
I think you got taken out in both the first start and the restart. Yeah. So it's a pretty short day for you, all in all, sadly.
A little bit, but yeah, race 3, I got hit at the last corner of the first lap, and then finally taken out at the first corner of the second lap. Not a great couple of corners.
They did have to work to take you out, though.
Well, they did, yeah. It was like a team effort. I took out Novak on the way out as well. My car was sliding across the track.
I have to give yourself a penalty for that one.
I'll disqualify myself. But yeah, it's all right. It was fun. We got 3 weeks to get over that particular emotional trauma and flip around the fountain at Long Beach.
Are you looking forward to Long Beach then? A street track, one of the first street tracks of the season, I believe.
It's the first street track we've ever done, and I'm regretting putting it on the calendar. But let's see. At least you can't be punted off the track because you're just going into a wall.
Yeah, GT racing tends to go fairly well at Long Beach, so let's hope touring cars.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide street track.
Hope springs eternal, just like the fountain in the middle of Long Beach.
Yeah.
I think that's why there's the roundabout, isn't it? Because the fountain.
Yeah. So I wonder who's going to be first in the fountain.
I was hoping, have I invented a fountain in Long Beach? No, there is a fountain.
There is definitely a fountain.
I'm not going completely mental.
Yeah, there's a flower bed as well.
Imagining fountains.
Because Pagano ended up in the flower bed a few years ago in IndyCar.
Did, yes. Let's hope none of our guys figure out the way in there. But anyway, I think it's time to wrap up then. So that is pretty much everything from Snetterton. So it is Luke Mitchell winning races 1 and 3, and Mike Bell winning race 2. So it's Hunter Birch Simulation winning all 3 rounds, but Rookie Monsters were right on their tail. And of course, Luca Gray getting his best result of the season in race 3. So lots of big stories to look forward to. The season continues at Long Beach on the 29th of September?
Yeah,
8th of September. There we go. I was a day out. It's not on a Friday. Silly me. September, Long Beach. Don't miss it. Hopefully Joshua Birch and Thomas Rash will be back to take you through all the action, because I don't know where I'll be, but I'll probably be commentating on GPVWC Formula Sprint 1 as usual. But it was great to come back. Great to see everyone again, and great to see my cars win all 3 races, which of course doesn't hurt to see it all. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Pascal Eggert on broadcast, and to everyone at EERC for taking part, participating, watching, and of course organising, put the whole thing together and managing it so swiftly and effectively. I've been Edward Hunter. Thank you very much for watching Racing at Snetterton. See you in Long Beach in a few weeks' time.